Beautiful friends, beautiful souls. I hope you're having a beautiful day so far. It's Tuesday, and it's time to vibe with your tribe and feed your prediction addiction, baby. Yeah, so much seems to be way out of whack over the past week, wouldn't you say? You would think that perhaps we were in Mercury retrograde, which we are not at all in Mercury retrograde. The past week's been kind of a little wonky. The whole month, really, of February, which is coming to a close finally. Was there an attempt just recently on Donald Trump's son? Someone mailed in an envelope containing powder to their residence in Florida. And Spirit told us again and again and again that there would be attempts, mainly on DT's life. But now his son? Why? Is that because his son's such a big supporter of his father? So is there more that's going to come in this situation as far as attempts? Even though we don't know what the powder was, seems to be a little bit of nothing right now, but we don't know yet. So will DT actually survive all the way up to the election? I threw out a few cards this morning for Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and even Julian Assange. And I'm going to tell you what the cards say, but I'll tell you one little hint. The first card that I pulled out for DT was actually the Justice card in both directions. And I'm going to tell you the rest of those cards and what the cards say for Joey Biden as well. The airlines went out of whack again, just like Spirit told us, right? Over and over, that the airlines were going to continue to be pounded by events. And this time it seems that it was a cyber attack, even though they're not telling us that. The FAA websites went completely down, bringing thousands of flights into big delays, while at the same time canceling hundreds of other flights. This would make a lot more sense to my previous prediction that the airlines would, belly up as far as bankruptcy in the future. And that was part of the global elite and the WEF's goal and agenda to try to prevent people from traveling. Which they will not succeed, by the way, thankfully. But what's going to happen, much like the cyber attack that we're apparently feeling when it comes to communications. So China apparently has been working overtime to bring hacks and hack attacks to the United States. But is it just United States? Are there other countries at risk as well? And is it just China? Could Russia be in on it? Or could other countries be in on it? They probably are, and we're going to talk about that today. Spirit warned that 2024 would bring major cyber attacks, by the way. So, is that what we're witnessing right now over the past week with all these outages and things? You remember, Spirit did tell us not long ago that there would be big outages for specifically Verizon and AT&T and a few others. So Spirit was right, because that just happened, and they encountered major outages, along with a couple other companies, a couple other companies as well, that lost all their services. So, and why did people's phones suddenly go to SOS mode? Now that's a little creepy. And they're saying it's one thing, then they say it's another thing. They say it's not some players, then they say it's not this. But what really was the case? Seems to me, like I said, that China's working really hard on their cyber attacks, and along with their other countries that are backing them up. So are there more cyber attacks to come? Well, of course there are. But where exactly will the next attack in outage occur? And where's it going to hit? Perhaps a grid next time? Or actually a water system? Someone's watering system getting hacked, turning and shutting down the waters? And what about the airlines? What's going to happen to them? We're going to talk about that today, of course. I just recently put out a warning, not long ago. I'd say within the past month, if you remember. The women will remember me saying this if you watch every week. I told ladies to be extremely mindful, because I had visions of a female being attacked, a young female who was out on a morning run. And as you know, it's exactly, unfortunately, what happened. A young woman out on a run who was attending nursing school in Georgia was running right along the Georgia campus. And this tragedy, a sad tragedy that really simply didn't need to happen. And now women need to be even more worried about going out and about while not feeling safe to walk or even run in their own neighborhood or at a college campus on that matter. So, should women, perhaps men too, not just women, still be on the alert? They probably should be. Because Spirit did tell women to be mindful and be, don't go out alone if you could prevent going out alone. Remember that warning from Spirit? So, we're going to touch base on that today. Over the past month, many big bank stocks on the stock market have continued to drop, while the billionaires are suddenly dumping all their stocks like never before. Jeff Bezos alone dumped $105 billion of his own personal stocks. The Waltons, who own Walmart, Gates, Zuckerberg, and many others are dumping billions and billions of dollars of their own personal stock shares. But why exactly, friends? This is a big red flag. We all know and we all feel it coming, that there's a huge blow coming to the economy. We've been talking about it, feeling it for a while. So what are the elite up to? What are they doing with, cashing out all their stock options? Why are they doing that exactly? And where should we be putting our money in the future? And more importantly, will the Great Wall fall? Was it a week or two ago? I heard a message from Spirit that I gave you that all I got was a Great Wall will fall. Could that wall be Wall Street? I bet it is. We're going to touch base on that today. Spirit also told us that we were going to begin to witness members of the elite, the globalists, begin to drop like flies. And guess what? A huge fly trap gobbled up one of those devils in the devil's fly trap. Jacob Rothschild passed away. And as you may or may not know, he is in control of the banking system. He's one of the global elite at their best, right? So is the fall of Jacob another indicator of a fall of the global economy? Because now power's changing hands. Spirit told us lots of power would change hands in 2024. And lots of people in power would drop out of power. Well, we see the Rothschild drop. What Rothschild's going to take over from there? Even though there's probably not a good apple in that bunch. I bet there isn't. Bet you that whole basket of apples went rotten on them. The future of Julian Assange. The future of Wendy Williams. The current fluoride trials that are going on right now to fight to stop water fluoridation. I could talk. Do you know about fluoride? I'm sure you do. But we're going to talk about these trials that are going on to fight to have this fluoridation stopped from being put in our water. All of this and a whole lot more on this episode number 106 of Tuesday's Predictions Update. And y'all know what time it is?
It's tea time, baby!
Welcome, Satnam, beautiful friends, beautiful souls. I hope that you're having an amazing day so far. I welcome you to my channel, back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Joseph Tittel, aka Spiritman JT. And if you want accurate predictions, prophecy, truth, and lots of great content, make sure that you vibe with the tribe. You got to smash that there subscribe, friends. Thank you for showing your love by clicking that love button, which happens to be the thumbs up button down below. A lot of time and energy and effort goes into preparing this show and all the content on this channel. And I appreciate you showing your love by clicking that thumbs up button. And all of those who are members of the communities down below, the Awaken Your Spirit community on Subscribestar, and all the other supporters that make this free content possible for everybody else. I couldn't do it without you, and I thank you with infinite love and gratitude. I get to do what I love to do and hang out with you and vibe with the tribe each and every week and several times a week, depending on what's going on. What's coming up next this week will be March predictions, of course. I hope to have them done and out by tomorrow, but it may be Thursday. We'll have to see. Keep an eye out for the March predictions. I'm also working on going live. I have a new program, new computer. Seems to be so far working pretty well. So I'm going to do a live soon, maybe this week, hopefully, depending on my schedule. Because I want to show you some video clips of some disturbing that we're going to analyze together live. So that'll be fun. We'll start to do that often too. If my live's going good, then we can do live more often. Also down below in the description, you'll first find the link to my newsletter. It's free. You'll never miss content. You'll get special offers, upcoming classes, inspirational message, especially at the beginning of each month. I send them out sometimes in the middle of the month too, depending on what's going on. So it's free. You'll never miss content, and you'll always know where to find me, just in case, in my newsletter. Down below, you can also find all the links to all the social media platforms, including the Awaken Your Spirit community. And also down below, if you are interested in shifting your IRA over to gold with the way the economy is going and what we're going to be talking about with the economy today, there is a link down below that you can receive free information on how to do so. Be sure to use the link down below. Other than that, shall we move on? What else did I want to tell you? I think that's it. Let's move on to episode number 106
Of Tea Time, baby.
So the month of February is slowly coming to a close, as well as the season, which is about to come to a close in approximately 3 weeks on the 19th of March, when spring begins to bloom and blossom in the northern hemisphere and the autumn equinox kicks in the southern hemisphere. This is an amazing, powerful time. Being we just had the full moon, we are in the waxing moon cycle, which is there to bring up things to help us let go of things. So take this time period, as a reminder to allow us to shed all the things that no longer serve us at this time, so that we can welcome in the changing of the seasons in March and do so with achieving our goals, our dreams, and allowing our lives to blossom in amazing new ways. Remember, we're still fresh in the year. Get yourself excited. Totally rev yourself up that something exciting is happening in your life and in the world. That's how we manifest. You don't need to know the details. Let the universe work out the details. Just plug into the emotions of it, and anything that you're trying to achieve in your life and the dreams that you are working hard to make happen, plug into the emotion as if you are literally living it right now. That is one of the top rules in the law of attraction. But I also remind you, come the 18th of March, we're going to step into the pre-shadow of the dreaded Mercury retrograde in the sign of Leo, just a day before equinox. So, and it seems that this year, both the equinox, the 19th is early. It's usually between the 20th and the 23rd, which also makes Easter much earlier this year as well. And so I'll have full details in my March predictions, so remember to keep an eye out for that later this week. I also remind you that times are getting crazier and crazier, and that it is really important to remain positive. I know sometimes that can be a challenge, but remain positive and know in your heart and soul that the future, things are going to be amazing. Again, as long as you focus on that, at the same time, acknowledging the current amazing blessings that are already happening in your life each and every day. In turn, I guarantee you that the universe is going to bless you with more and more. So allow predictions to actually help you to be prepared instead of making people scared. For we are taught that our greatest fears become a reality, right? You hear that all the time. Your greatest fears become a reality. Well, the reality in that statement is the fact that we are responsible for making our greatest fears become a reality by continuously feeding it energy. Continuing to feed it energy with our fear instead of putting that energy into your dreams and goals instead. Then in turn, you're empowering that. You're no longer empowering your greatest fears. And that's what will become the reality in your life, the good things. Forget about the greatest fears. And again, in doing so, you will be ensured that those fears will never ever become a reality because they're no longer your greatest fears. Instead, you're focused on your greatest achievements, the ones that you are achieving now and those that you're achieving already in the future. So let's talk about the Trump family for a moment. Moving right along. So as you know by now, hazmat team showed up at Donnie Jr.'s home in Florida after Jr. opened up an envelope that contained a threat and white powder that was discovered that covered the former president's eldest son. So what's that all about, friends? What's that all about? Who told me that this morning? I don't know how I found that out this morning. It was random. I'm glad I saw that right before going on here and recording. Now you're going to do this to me. It's not going to let me read the article. Well, you know the story anyway. I don't need to read the article. So as you know, Spirit has been telling us for years and years that they're going to do, they being the global elite, the dark evildoers, that they would do everything possible to stop DT and his family from stepping into the White House for a second term. Everything from what we are witnessing in the court systems right now, doing everything along with the potential to have the former president show up, suddenly on Alive. That we know that's their goal, to make that happen. So remember my warnings for Trump traveling by air and the potential of a plane. Not necessarily Trump's, but somewhere between Puerto Rico and Florida. Political related, I believe, without a doubt. I've been saying this for a while. But don't be surprised if it ends up being him. So I was also pulled to... I pulled some cards today for Trump. DT specifically. And interesting that the very first card that came up was the Justice card reversed. So the Justice card reversed, which isn't shocking. It's shocking and not so shocking that that's the very first card to come up, right? Not at all. So Justice reverse means actually unfairness in the justice system. False accusations, untrue friends, bad business partners, all of that indicated in the very first card. So I would expect to see this unfairness continue, unfortunately. But I also always interpret my first card in both directions, because reversed always shows me where things are and have been, and then it shows me where the potential can go. So upright, of course, justice is all about exactly that. Justice shows fairness, proper balance, and self-satisfaction. So then I pulled the second card. The second card pulled was the Eight of Swords. First indicating his depression, hard work, and stress. Lots and lots of stress, which I could imagine. Could you imagine the stress that goes into that? I mean, look at how presidents age so fast. And not even that he's the president anymore, but look at just in general that alone. So I would imagine being in that place, trying to get back in is even more stressful, especially with all those court dealings and everything else. So that's what the Eight of Swords is indicating, a lot of stress. And we reverse that and it shows bad news coming, a crisis or a potential health issue between the periods of August and October. So again, it shows us when we reverse that, it shows us that there's some kind of bad news coming, a crisis or some type of potential health issue between the period of August and October for either Donald Trump himself, or bad news could be a family member too. I didn't see anybody leaving or exiting. That's what that indicated. While the third card was the Tower reversed, which is, what I call one of the ego cards. We have those two devils on our shoulder, right? The fear and ego that try to talk us out of everything. On your left shoulder is the little she-devil ego. On the right shoulder is the little he-devil fear. They're the ones that yell. So I call the reverse Tower card one of the ego cards because it shows the ego causes us to follow old patterns, follow old ways, keep us caught up in the same crap over and over and over again, which in turn brings unhappiness. And that card also indicates unhappiness in marriage. So I would imagine this is definitely putting a toll on their marriage. And also shows that he's getting to a point where he feels like he's not making any change. All of this hard work, you're not doing anything, you're not making any change. And that's what the ego tells us. Oh, yeah, you're not making any change, give up, right? That's one of the ego cards. So the fourth card was the Strength card, reversed as well, indicating, of course, potential illness. It also indicates abuse of power and a huge indifference or argument of some sort. And this would be between the periods of November and January. So think about that for a minute, friends. Potential health issue. Again, we had that in the previous card. Some type of abuse of power. And it doesn't mean that he's the one abusing the power. Keep that in mind. It just shows in general abuse of power. And a huge indifference. An argument. And again, between the periods of November and January, it'd be pretty easy to interpret what that would be telling us. His cards showed a lot of deception around him. Of course, we've done this reading before a couple years ago. It's just a lot of deception, trickiness, false friends, and a really bad business partner or bad influence in his life, or both. Bad influence and bad business partner, which will come out. But October shows that he's going to endure some losses that he will incur, and more difficulty when it comes to people being traitors. October. Now, that would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? It's right before the election. Of course, traitors step out. We find out who the traitors are, or what have you. So, this also shows a feminine influence in his life, which I didn't put the card there, but pretty sure it was the High Priestess. But it showed me today that there's a feminine influence in his life that's going to be the motivator that pushes him forward when he needs to be pushed forward. I don't know who that is. I would think Melania first, but Spirit's saying no. So we'll have to see who that ends up being. I'm going to say whoever he chooses as the VP is probably the one that's going to be the female pushing him forward. I see major changes in even making a truce with somebody in order to maintain peace. I don't know who that is, but it's telling him you need to make a truce and maintain peace. Same time period, probably between October and January. There's no other indicators than that the fact that he is in a personal 1 year, by the way. So that's all about new beginnings and new starts. That's a good thing, new beginnings. And even winnings at the polls would bring great change, right? That's what it is overall. So overall, the justice will be balanced is what it was telling me today, but not necessarily justice prevailing, as it shows much more stress in turn affecting the health of DT and his marriage. It shows that he will continue to fight, which we know he will. What did the card say about Joe Biden? That's the next one. First card up for Joe Biden was the Ace of Swords reversed, indicating that little Joey B has quite a temper. Which we hear, but this confirms right away that he's extremely temperamental and a little bit mean. And soon, he's going to embarrass himself when he has a tyranny over something and self-destructs. That'd be easy to see happen. Totally easy to see that happen. Watch how fast they try to cover that one up. So also upright, the same card, the Ace of Swords, is showing that he is a determined individual, and we know that without a doubt. And he will do anything possible to reach his goal. No matter what it takes to reach his goal. That's what the card said. And that could be both a good thing, and it can also be a very bad thing at the same time. So we also had the High Priestess reversed, showing us that he's very selfish. Lacks understanding, shows ignorance, short-sightedness, and funny that she also, the High Priestess, of course, upright, represents the educational system. And look what JB just did for the students with their loans, which is so not right. It's so not right for the rest of the Americans. Sorry, it's just not cool. That's my personal opinion, not Spirit's opinion. So, third card was the Page of Cups reversed, indicating that there is going to be a young male energy around Joe Biden who is basically the seducer, knows all the things to say to get what he wants. He's good at getting what he wants. He's a flatterer, and he's very dependent on Joe. So this has got to be Hunter. It's got to be. When I pulled that card out, I was like, this has got to be Hunter. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, it would sound like him. So it shows that this young man's going to be a temporary distraction in the near future. Temporary, but why temporary? Is Hunter going somewhere? Could that align with my other past predictions? And then we had the Ten of Swords upright. First, representing the time periods between October and late December. Very important time period, of course, you would agree. Perhaps also could represent 10 weeks from now. Also could be two representations. So 10 weeks from now would be the first week of the month of May. And this indicates pain, sadness, misfortune. And being to the previous card represented that young man in the temporary distraction, it could actually be related because one card that follows the other all highlight each other. So telling us that that time period, again in early May, and then between the periods of October and December, that there's going to be sadness, misfortune, grief, and sorrow. Not a very positive card at all. It also is going to relate to someone being in severe pain. And I'm thinking it's physical pain from a health issue of some sort, an issue that will need to have some type of, serious medical or surgical procedure that'll have to be done. This also could actually be a health issue around Jill Biden. Not Joe, but his wife, Jill. Perhaps even Hunter as well, because he came up. I have no doubt that that previous card was him. And the Tower reversed also speaks for itself. No ability to make worthwhile changes, living in a rut. And again, it's a ego card showing, living in a rut, continuing in your old ways, following your old patterns, so forth. It also, again, indicates marriage issues. Could you imagine? Poor Jill. I feel sorry for her. I do. That's got to be stressful on her. So the sun represents the sun card, the sun. Also indicated unhappiness. It reversed, by the way. It was reversed. So it indicates the opposite of sunny, bright, shiny days. It's more like cloudy, dim, unhappy days. And unhappiness again around marriage. So like I said, poor Jill seems to have been drugged to hell and back a few times. So likely the health issue again and the pain and somebody being in pain is likely going to be Jill Biden. Not Joe, Jill. So I'm clear on that. Lack of, that also represents lack of support from other people. He'll be lacking the support that he needs. Yeah, they want him out. They're going to push him out, I'm telling you. If they don't do that first, which is very plausible, especially in the month of October, according to the cards. Wouldn't it be interesting to see them both go out? Both of the candidates just be out. That would be interesting and shocking. This year is full of shocking events, so it's going to be interesting. But Spirit says it's all being wired and it's all being, you know what they do. I'm not going to say it, but you know what they do. And Spirit says that's what they're doing. Hopefully they're not successful, but they're trying to make everything like a big rig truck, right? So Jill, it also indicates that the sun reversed that their future is very cloudy. They're not, again, getting the support from the people that they need. They don't have true friends that are supportive when the time comes and they're going to need them, lacking the true friendship. Of course, you're in a place of power. People are going to use you, pretend to be your friend. It doesn't matter who you are. It's just a way of life, unfortunately. You just got to be able to read people well enough to know who's using you and who's not. And he's surrounded by users. It shows he's going to be canceling out a lot of plans, canceling out on things. That could be canceling out on the election. That was the last card, too. And being that card represents cancellation, I would say that canceling plans, I'd say there's going to be a cancellation of him as a Democratic nomination. And that's what I got between the two. I'll get more and more information will come as time flows, but really look at the time periods that came up in both our readings. October through December for both of them, right? Interesting, right? So I'm putting them both back. It looks to me like Joe's not going to be around for that. They're going to push him out, they're not his friends and so forth. And apparently some kind of family issue or crisis is coming up probably between the time period of August and October for the Biden family. Now, same with the DT. Lots of deception, lots of things going on around him. But in his case, it'll be more identified. Overall, again, it showed justice being balanced. It doesn't necessarily mean prevailing, but definitely being balanced. So we'll have to see. And I'll do another reading on that in the near future and see what happens. So how about Spirit telling us specifically that Verizon, AT&T, I think Spirit even said Comcast, and I don't know if Comcast was one of the people that went out, but Spirit told us specific companies that would go out, have major outages. That would be a big problem. And that was a big problem just last week when Apple, Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, Cricket, and a bunch of others all went out completely without warning. Remember what the FBI warned earlier this month? The FBI warned of exactly that. But now they're telling us, oh, it was a system glitch. Oh, it wasn't the sun flare. It wasn't this. It wasn't China. It was China. China's definitely has, what Spirit says, files, Trojan horses files, that they've instilled in our systems a long time ago. Remember, most of the Wi-Fi systems and these Wi-Fi light poles that they're putting up all over the cities, you know who builds them, right? China. So they can put whatever they want in them. They could be, as far as we know, they could be deadly weapons that we're not aware of, that put out high-pitched frequencies, the devil's frequency. But, we just trust them to go and put all our towers in made by China and so forth. So remember, too, the emergency broadcast system thing, and everybody was talking about it. At the same time, the movie came out, Leave the World Behind. And look what happened. People's phones suddenly went on SOS mode. SOS mode? That's not a glitch in the system. That's a hack. And I did think it was sun flares because of the way they came in. But when I learned more about that, and Spirit said, sun flares are going to take out communications in the future. More in the southern hemisphere, Spirit says. More down in the southern hemisphere, especially on the side. China will have communication issues too related to solar flares. And of course, they'll try to blame the United States as if it was a cyber attack, but it will actually, in that case, be related to a solar flare, and it's minimum damage to their systems. That's what Spirit says. Including, again, outages when it comes to smaller grids, and I think that would be more connected to parts of Africa from slight flares. One grid having to be completely rebuilt. I'm not sure where that is, but that could actually be connected to the islands. I don't know what islands, probably around Indonesia, I would say. So that's going to be a hot spot around Indonesia, a huge hot spot. So, yeah, the FBI warned. People's phones went on SOS. We know there's Trojan horses. I said there'd be a big attack. I thought it'd be a different kind of attack on Vegas, but it was a hack attack, cyber attack. The FAA just lost all theirs over the past week too, canceling hundreds of flights while delaying thousands of other flights. Crazy, right? Remember what we said about airlines. So Spirit says the airlines is a big target. But the next big target's going to be television communications. Hacking in potentially to the news networks. So I don't know if that's like CNN, Fox. That's my assumption, but Spirit's telling me this now. An attack on the communications that affect television and mainly broadcast news. So I would say news outlets are going to get attacked, like, the headquarters of CNN or the headquarters of Fox having cyber attacks. That takes some of them off the air. So that's going to happen. There's going to be cyber attacks connected to Hollywood. I don't know in what fashion. And even Disney World's going to have issues with cyber attacks. Look what just happened in Disney with Cinderella's Castle. Tell me that's not a warning from the spirits. Remember I told you Disney was going to sell out, that they were going to start going bankrupt? They just sold most of their movie business to, where is it? Sony, I think. Thought I had it written down here somewhere. Yes, Sony. Disney sells a major part of their movie business to Sony. And look, they have fires. But Spirits, we're talking about cyber attacks right now. Spirit says they will endure cyber attacks. Disney World and Disneyland. Minor attacks, but they will experience them. So hopefully we'll hear about it to confirm this happening. There's attacks coming to the government systems in Australia and New Zealand both. Not necessarily, again, being caused by China specifically. One of the attacks on the systems between those two countries will come from within that country. And I believe that someone will be arrested and take the blame. I don't know if they will be the ones to blame, but... And even attacks coming to Israel. Something with our military. Somebody hacking into something connected to Israel's military. That's kind of creepy. I don't know what aspect. And then the Spirit also showed me earlier today a hack that's going to affect a city's water system that gets shut down. I don't feel like it's getting toxic. Although Spirit did warn us about a year ago that there would be water that would be tainted. That's different than a hack attack, of course, but that just came to my mind. Water being tainted. Don't know where that is. Middle East. Okay, in the Middle East somewhere. Someone's water being tainted. Of course, blaming someone else. Likely connected to a flag that flies ever so falsely, friends. Flag that flies ever so falsely. So, that was a lot of information. Thank you, Spirit, for that information. Anything else we need to be aware of? Oh, yeah. Attacks on the big platforms, Facebook, which I said before, but Spirit's reminding us. Facebook and Instagram will go down, causing a panic to people again. That will be a problem with their system itself, and a mis-upload or something is what Spirit says, not necessarily a hack. And yeah, of course, X platform. They're working hard to attack the X platform, the former Twitter platform. Who's there? The dark evil doers, Spirit says, of course. Will they succeed? Temporarily. Yeah, Spirit says temporarily they will succeed. Anything else there, Spirit? Chatty bunch today. So airlines, airlines. Did you know that American Airlines just raised baggage fees to $40 for your first bag? $45 for your second bag. What happened to your ticket including your bag? I could see if you have 4 bags or something, yeah, they should probably charge you a little extra for that, but your ticket should include you bringing in 2 bags. One that you check in and one that you can carry on the plane. That's ridiculous. And that's where my miles are with American Airlines. I don't like that very much. So, did you know in Belgium, according to a comment in the comments of the video from last week, Belgium, the pilots and flight attendants will strike next week, which would be this week. So I don't know if that's happening. I didn't have time to confirm that. And the Nigerian banker who was linked to the CBDC, which did not work. I don't know what that has to do. That has nothing to do with that. But pilots, we're talking about pilots. We'll talk about the Nigerian banker. So there's been a lot of people, important people, taken out lately. Speaking of flying like the guy in Chile, that was taken out in his helicopter purposely. We know that now. He was the one that was against letting them bring in their smart cities. Interesting, huh? Fighting against it. And then the big fires, exactly where they want to put their smart city. No coincidence there. The Nigerian bank CEO from California, who, again, what that comment just said, he was linked to the CBDC. Crazy, right? I remember Spirit said in the future there would be a problem with airlines and needing a bailout of some sort. That's probably could be a few years from now, but this is the potential of trying to stop us from traveling. That's what the WEF wants more than anything. They only want themselves to be able to travel. You're not allowed to because it's, you're warming up the planet if you do it. But they're allowed to fly their jets all around the world each and every day, constantly. That's okay. They're allowed to eat meat. They're allowed to have pets. Did you know now the WEF is telling us that we need to get rid of our pets? Your pets are causing global warming. That's sick. They literally have advertisements telling you not to adopt pets at all. Don't get a new pet. It's against the climate. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. I don't have my doggy baby Mary Jean over my shoulder right now. She's my angel, but let me tell you, you would not come for my dog. I'd go out firing, baby. You don't come for my pets. And that's not just me speaking. That's all you pet owners out there are going to say the same thing as me. You ain't taking my pet. Not happening. Nope. Okay, so warning to women. As you know, if you've been following long enough, it wasn't really that long ago that I sent out a warning from Spirit to women, especially young women, and really all women. When you're out jogging or taking a walk, especially in parks, remember Spirit saying that. I had vision of an attack on a female. Actually, I had several. So this isn't the only one, unfortunately. There's a potential for more in the future. But if we put out this warning again, seeing visions, we can prevent them from happening. Perhaps if this person would have heard that message to be mindful. Don't go out jogging or walking through parks by yourself, ladies. Perhaps this wouldn't have happened, even though it's definitely without a doubt a part of her soul contract, unfortunately. But as you know, again, Spirit said be mindful. Don't go out by yourself. Don't go out in early morning or dusk. I don't know what time of the day it was for the young woman in Georgia who was at nursing school that had this sad tragedy happen to her. So awful. So sad. What makes it even worse, of course, is the perpetrator. The person who committed this crime. Sad. Now, if we didn't have open borders like we do, this would have never happened. Never. Guaranteed. That's all part of the contracts. Why it happened. To show people the dangers that are out there that lie. That now women can't even be safe in their own neighborhoods. Taking a walk or even a run through the park. You always have to have, your back watched. That's why even still you should always carry something, ladies and gentlemen too. Everybody's vulnerable now that we have criminals and gang members roaming our streets in America. Not just in America either, friends. It's happening in your end of the world too, as you know. Carry something with you, friends. And always have it like in your hand. In your pocket, with your hand in your pocket, whether it's some pepper spray. That's the easiest one to get people away. Second, a taser. Carry both. I do. You should too. And I'm all about, getting a permit to carry. Be safe, ladies. Be safe and gentlemen. This is not good. But this is something that we still need to be on high alert for, according to Spirit. Because it's not just the Georgia nursing student. I warned women not to run. And it's interesting because the White House ain't saying nothing about this. Not a word. Do you remember George Floyd? That poor man? Do you know the White House sent out 28 texts right away? They haven't said a word about this poor woman in Georgia and the incident that wouldn't have occurred if our borders weren't wide open. So friends, this is all an event, probably according to their soul contracts, to show us the dangers and to get it to stop. We need to be more protected and mindful as to who's coming in and out and how they're doing so. And that'll be their next thing, friends. Their next thing will be their video surveillance systems that track everybody and everything. And it'll be all us good citizens that are ended up, being tracked the most, while the bad guys and the gang members get to run free. Right? See it coming. I see it coming. But it doesn't have to come. We can hold in the light that that's never going to happen. And I do every day. WEF and those global elite are not going to get their way. They're going to try, and they're going to continue to fight, because that's what psychopaths do. Just like the economy. Let's move on to the economy, but prayers to the family of that young woman and nursing student in Georgia. It's a sad thing. And again, that final warning continues to go out to all ladies to just be mindful. And everybody, it doesn't matter. Because it may not, the incident that happened to her could be a different incident that happens where someone's mugged or whatever. Things can happen, as you know. Things definitely happening in the stock markets, that's for sure. Because over the past month, just over the past 3 weeks, really, many bank stocks, banking companies and bankers, their stocks have continued to drop. That's a bad sign, friends. Very bad sign. What's even a bigger sign is the billionaires and what they're doing. They're cashing out all their stocks. So we have Jeff Bezos, who dumped $10.5 billion. Or no, I'm sorry. I rephrase that. $105 billion. Let me rephrase it. Not 10.5. $105 billion. $105 billion of his own personal stocks. We have the Waltons, who own Walmart. They dumped, Bezos was 10.5. My apologies. And it was 4.5 billion for the Waltons family, who own Walmart. Gates is selling all his stocks except for food companies. Didn't I tell you something? He's going to stay with the farming and the food. Yeah, they want control of the farming and the food. You control the food, you control the world. You control the food and water, you control everything. That's what Gates is doing. But he's selling all his stocks, all of them. And Zuckerberg is selling $500 million so he could build that $500 million bunker in Hawaii. Not a good place to build a bunker, by the way. Less than smart. His underground bunker. I'm sure it'll be amazing looking, but whatever. It's his money. Do what you want with it. But why? Again, why are they all cashing out, friends? Why are they all cashing out of their stock options? There's a reason. The same reason that all the bankers are going broke. The banking stocks are going broke. The investors, let's say that. It's not even the bankers. They won't go broke. Are you kidding? It'll be the investors. So if you have investments in any of these banking companies, you might want to get it out ASAP because it's not going to go up. It's continuing to go down. It's going to continue to plummet. And then we have this event happening on March 11th with the, I forget the details of it, but I'm sure you watched something on it or read something about it by now. That ends when it helps the banks or whatever. That ends and banks are going to start to go down. And in March, in my March predictions, that's one of the predictions that many banks are going to continue to fold, which now has me concerned. I belong to a federal union, not a federal union, a credit union, and it makes me concerned. You know, I don't have a lot. That's all the more reason that I'm concerned. Don't have a lot. And now I'm thinking of taking that out and putting it all in silver. Buy a couple grand in silver. That's what I'm thinking about doing with my money and not having the money. So that's my consideration. I'm very highly considering it, friends. So if I'm highly considering it, you may want to do so too. Remember, I am not a financial expert. I am a psychic medium. But Spirit said a long time ago to invest in silver in the long run. In the long run, that's the other key. You have to hold on to it for a while. In the long run, it'll have a higher paying dividend and you'll make more. But they're both going to go skyrocket because not only are the elite selling all their shares, they're buying up all the gold and silver. Hello? You got to follow the rules. You got to follow what they do. When they're doing something, you should be doing the same thing, right? They're already backed by silver and gold, are you? And remember, down below, if you have IRAs and backed by stocks and such, it's a very dangerous place to be. Don't you want to have stock options or gold options and silver options with your IRAs? Not only that, you have a better chance of profiting more money in the future with precious metals, gold and silver. Down below, there's a link. So if you have IRAs and you want free information on how, and that can benefit you, go down below to the link, click on that link, and you'll find out how you can do that. It's highly recommended by many experts. I'm not the expert. I'm just telling you what the elite are doing and that we should be following suit. That's why I say silver, I'm going to go buy a whole bunch. Now, if I had tens of thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, yeah, I would buy gold too. I'd buy both, but I'd buy more silver. That's just me. Because Spirit told me that a long time ago, and I remember back, I think it was a long time ago, 2010 maybe, that Spirit told me, said that in predictions, that silver was going to skyrocket, and then there was the shortage on silver, and silver skyrocketed. I could see silver going well past $100 an ounce over the next few years. Gold, well over $3,000 easy. But silver, yeah, maybe even up to $200 an ounce over the next 4 to 5 years for silver. Silver is going to become more of a great demand, Spirit says. It's already at a great demand, but it's going to become a greater demand due to certain circumstances. What are those circumstances, Spirit? New inventions and new technologies going to require more silver. And there's going to be shortages of silver due to something that happens in one of the big silver mines. Oh, God, that's more of a reason to go buy silver. Something is going to happen at one of the mines, the silver mines, that shuts it down for a while. That would skyrocket silver for sure. So who's the big mine? Does anybody know? Let us know in the comments so we know. Because you don't want to buy stock in that company for sure. Wait for them to plunge and close and then go buy stocks. Because Spirit said temporarily, for a while. Spirit said would be shut down for a while. So a while, again, would still make the prices go up. And if it's only just for a while, then prices are going to come back down again. So I'm saying over the next few years. Remember, we're in a 3-year cycle. This is an 8-year in numerology, which is all about the financial system and the economy, actually. Infinite possibilities and new things going into place. Next year's endings, death of cycles, getting rid of. So that by the time we get to 2026, the 1 year in numerology, everything's new. Everything's different. And so I hear somebody asking this question, even though I'm not live. I still hear it ringing in my brain. So what's going to happen to physical money? Spirit says we're still going to have physical money. People are going to reject the digital system. And there will be both. There will be both. And what about digital? What about, you read my mind, cryptocurrencies, yes. What about those, Spirit? Spirit says that the two, Bitcoin and Ethereum, is that what it's called? They'll be the sole survivors. They'd be the ones to go to because there's going to be a lot more cryptocurrencies that are going to run away with people's money. So beware. Overall, even though Bitcoin's the winner now, I think Ethereum, I feel that Ethereum is going to outdo that over the next decade. So between now and 2034. Interesting. Thank you, Spirits. I mean, I was all worried I didn't have enough time to prepare everything today. I had a lot going on. Busy guy. And I was like, I'm just going to wing it. I don't have no new predictions written down. So everything that you heard today in predictions all came from Spirit, other than the tarot cards, but that don't count. I mean, it counts, but it don't count, So yeah, they're all dumping their stocks, and we got all that information. So March, we're going to see many banks begin to fail, which is going to, I did write down a prediction here. So in March, we're going to begin to see banks fail once again, which is going to bring a panic in which people will no longer want to be keeping their money in their accounts. That's a problem. People start taking their money out. I'm about to, so I can see why everybody else would be about to. I am about to. Not all of it, but I'm taking, again, a big chunk out of my probably at least 30% of what I have and going and buying silver with it. That's me. I just got to find a good place to get silver. A good place. I just shook the camera. Sorry, if it wasn't an earthquake, it was me. Wasn't an earthquake, it was me. And remember Spirit said randomly to me recently, a great wall will fall. And I was like, what wall? And I'm thinking walls like the wall that fell during Reagan administration, right? The Berlin Wall. That's what I was thinking. And the first thing I thought is maybe the Great Wall of China, but why would that fall? That wouldn't make sense unless an earthquake knocked it over, but it hasn't in thousands of years. Why would it now? And then some of you mentioned in the comments, Wall Street. I'm like, damn, why did I not think of that? I only can go with what Spirit says, and sometimes y'all have to help me interpret what Spirit says. Spirit said a great wall will fall. I have no doubt that's Wall Street. No doubt at all that that's Wall Street. Which now I see the vision of a big tidal wave hitting New York. Not that this could be metaphoric, not literal. But I see a big wave washing over, and I see Wall Street, and I see the wave just washes it over. Now, washing, that could be symbolic too. Again, it doesn't mean that the tidal wave is going to hit New York City anytime soon, even though it is in the playbook for the future. Just don't know when in the future. There's symbolism all over the place that there's an intention of the Illuminati or whatever you want to call them wiping out New York City in the future from a tidal wave and making it look like it was an Earth event or a meteor hitting the ocean, which it will not be. It will be them. And I don't think that's what Spirit's showing me right now with this wave washing over New York City, mainly Wall Street, and this vision that I'm seeing. I'm going to take this as a washing away of the bad. Remember, water is a cleanser. It cleanses, it washes away the old and brings in the new. That's how I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it as that's what Spirit's showing me. A tidal wave metaphorically hitting Wall Street that washes away all the bad. Cool. That'll be interesting to witness. When? Because somebody's asking when, Spirit. Very soon, Spirit says. Very soon. So, and remember, like I said before, earlier, that the period of August through October was a really intense time period in general. And I would expect September is a double 8 vibration for the year and for the month of September, which would also have a big influence on the economy. So that time period. But Spirit says very soon, so I would expect some of them big drops to hit in March. The Great Fall, the Great Wall that shall fall. Again, I'm thinking the end of the summer, early fall. So between August and October. That's what I'm going to say. Let's move on to poor Julian Assange. That poor man. Those evildoers have done quite a job on Julian. All because he called out the truth. and release things like the Clinton files. You know they're behind a lot of this. Of course they are. So is Obama, and so much more that he's released and brought truth and brought to light. He's a journalist. This is telling us that we're not allowed to have free speech. Everything they've done to him. You know, and the previous president could have totally, pardoned him, but he didn't. It's too late now. Oh, I'll pardon him next time. You had 4 years to pardon that man. That man went through hell. Someone told me not to. You should always follow your gut. You're a leader. You should always follow your gut. And that man should have been let go. Him and Edward Snowden both. You know, Edward Snowden telling truth, and Julian's just a journalist. Not cool. And, that now he has to fight to keep, from being indicted to the United States, moved over to the United States, where we all know, if that were to happen, that what's going to come afterwards. We know it. That's why they want him so bad. They want to make sure they take him out. That's their goal. And actually, I would not be surprised if they were actually to take him out beforehand on his way to the United States. So say they did ship him to the United States, which I don't feel like that's going to happen. But even if they did, he might not make it across the water. That's my feeling. Did you know that there's a Julian Assange Illuminati card? Yes. I don't have that card. I looked through all my cards. I don't have it. But I'll try to remember to put it up here for you. But the card says on it, stay dead. Stay dead? Like, why? Does he keep coming alive or something? I thought that was interesting. That's definitely him in that card. No doubt that's him in the card. And to me, yeah, it shows him standing next to a casket saying, stay dead. That's not good. That's not good at all. Now, Julian was born on July 3rd, so he is in his 9th year of ending his death of cycles. So this could be a couple things. This could end his battle finally, but this could also end his life, or both. So I pulled some cards for Julian as too. And I pulled for Julian, of course, not very good things that the cards had to say, unfortunately. But the first one that came up was the Ace of Cups reverse, showing us immediately that Julian's health is fading away quite quickly. And we know that. Now, the cards just confirmed it, which, because we heard it, we hear it, we know it. And all those years being in that situation is going to take a toll on anybody's health, don't matter how strong or who you are. So the Ace reversed confirmed all this, confirmed his health, followed by the Eight of Cups reversed, indicating that he's moving away from something. I don't know what he's moving away from, hopefully this whole situation, but still feeling confused. Because that shows a lot of confusion, feeling confusion, and trying to decide, and this was what was concerning, whether you should stay in, or give up completely. Should I stay or should I go? Because there's so much at stake, right? That's the thoughts in the mind, according to this card, his mind. So could he be actually contemplating exiting this life completely on his own? Could that be an indicator by this card? Definitely the thoughts are going through his mind. Not necessarily that he'd be successful at that or try that, but the card definitely indicated those thoughts. That's sad. The third card was strength. Exactly what Julian needs more than anything, to tap into strength. And the strength stands for strength, exactly that. Strength, courage, conviction, and it's even a card that indicates positive signs for those who are fighting a health issue. And that's in the now. So this could be, again, whatever current health issues going on with him, that there's positive that will come out of that. But again, in the future, it doesn't mean something different's going to show up, which again, his cards did show today. A current health issue, and the strength card is telling him to tap into the strength, courage, and conviction to overcome this huge obstacle. And the huge obstacle is not just his health, but the huge obstacle that he's enduring right now. A warning came in the cards from the Two of Swords being reversed. That is a warning of duplicity, falseness, false friends, deception, all those things. So that card is telling Julian Assange that he's not aware of it, but somebody around him does not have his back. That there's an infiltrator and a traitor around him, and he don't recognize it. So we should find out. I felt that we all should find out who that traitor is within the next 2 weeks or the next 2 months. Now, the King of Cups represents often a lawyer, which would make sense, a businessman. This is separate than the bad guy, the infiltrator and traitor. This King of Cups is all about, somebody very professional, usually a lawyer or a businessman or somebody like that. Somebody who has really good taste in art and fine things, fine dining, fine food, all that. Somebody that's very responsible, but also very warm-hearted and creative, considerate and generous. So I would believe that this man, whoever this is somewhat like Julian himself, actually. You want to vibe with people that vibe with you, right? So I felt like they were kind of with the kind heart and being kind-hearted and such. And this person's going to assist him in some way for the better. I don't know who that is. I don't know who's around him. I don't know. But I know that the 10 and the 8 of swords both upright, that indicates some things too. Starting with pain, loss, sadness, and suffering. And indeed, that poor man is being forced to suffer. We know. What was that noise? That was weird. That was weird. Spooky. It's the spirits, my friends. It's the spirits. They're in my kitchen. So, the 8 and the 10 of swords indicates, again, trouble. Some type of grief, some type of sadness. And the 10 is related to something coming to the end of a road. That's really, the 10 of swords is big on showing us you're coming to the end of the road, whatever that road may be. Could that end of the road, again, be something with his life? Because we know more than anything, they want that man gone. They don't want him they only want him in the United States to make sure that he's gone. That's what they want. And so, again, the 10 of swords represents the end of a road, but it's also telling him at the same time that his past and things that are happening to him do not define who he is as a person, which we know. Some people believe it and think he's awful, but no, most of us know the truth. And we know that, and that's his worry. That goes to show how kind his heart is. He's so worried that, people are believing this and it's going to make him look bad at the end of it all. So that will greatly affect his health. So between the periods of August and October, the 8 of swords could also indicate freedom. That's another positive. It can represent freedom from past habits, freedom from past patterns, and overcoming these challenges. So overall, it appears to me that Julian may receive some relief from the restraints, but overall, his health is going to continue to suffer. And these cards show Julian, and him being in a 9 personal year in numerology, which also brings up health issues, by the way. Not always, but it can, and it is in his case. So topped off with knowing that many of the elite want him out of the picture completely, that 2024 is likely going to be Julian Assange's last year on our planet. So prayers to him and his family. I hope that's incorrect, but all the cards and everything kind of lead up to, big endings. And if it's not this year, and I hope that big ending for him is the end of all this and he gets to go home. Now, that would be what I'd like to see. So let us hold that in the light. Because it's possible, and together we can hold that in the light and potentially make it happen and beat that darkness. Hold in the light and hope that this will end, and that there's strong influences around him that are going to assist him in ending this incarceration. That would be lovely. Do you know who Wendy Williams is? How you doing? Remember her? Now, I know our out-of-country people probably have no idea who she is, although she does syndicate in other countries, or did. But how you doing? So, Wendy Williams happens to be in her 6th personal year, and there's been a lot of controversy around her lately. She passed out on the show, ended up with health issues. They canceled her show. She did a little documentary that really made her look really bad, made her look like an angry, mean woman. I couldn't believe that she let that go out like that, but she produced it, so she wanted people to see that side of her, which I give her credit for, without a doubt. But she wanted everybody to be aware of her struggles in her life and her health, and that's exactly what that's all about. So this all started to hit her in her 4 personal year. She's in her 6th. But it was about 2 years ago she started to have all these issues with her health and such. So, numbers don't lie. I give Wendy, unfortunately, Wendy Williams, I give about 3 years tops before she ends up exiting. And sadly, right at this point, and this can change, but at this point, I have the strong feeling that Wendy Williams is going to opt out on her own, if you know what I mean. I hope I'm wrong, but I probably am not. But I hope I am. So, prayers to her. I used to love watching that show way back in the day. I don't watch TV like that anymore, but way back in the day, I used to love watching her Hot Topics. The fluoride trials. Are you aware of the current trials that are happening to fight the fluoridation process in the United States of America, which is also happening in other countries, most other countries nowadays as well? Are you aware of what fluoride does? If you're not, you should do some research. There's some great little documentary videos because basically fluoride was outlawed and banned as a toxic chemical that has no taste or smell. And when they decided that, and they discovered that it makes bones stronger, they decided, oh, well, then it makes your teeth stronger too. So we're going to put it in the water so that we don't have to pay to get rid of this toxic chemical like these companies would have had to have done. It's waste from, fertilizer plants or something like that? It's just waste. Even though it don't have a smell or a taste, it's toxic. And they put it in our water. And it's been proven to cause problems with cognition, with our memories, with our focus, and everything else. And, some believe that it was put in the water in Germany back in that great Second World conflict by, that mean man, that devil dude. Yeah, so why would they use that? What actually fluoride does, and it's a fact, is puts a calcium-like substance deposit around your main glands, your thyroid, which is all about communication, socialization, and speaking up for yourself. So yeah, they want to block that off, rip your thyroid out if they can. Your pituitary gland, which in spirituality is our third eye chakra. This is where all your psychic intuition and your gut instinct comes from. Here, actually, not the gut, up here in your third eye. So it puts a calcium deposit around your pituitary gland and your pineal gland, which is the top center of your brain, shaped exactly like a pine cone. Did you ever notice the Vatican has big statues of pine cones outside the doors, outside the steps? Yeah, what's that about? Because they believed in ancient cultures that the pineal gland is where your soul resides, therefore giving us our direct link to God and the divine. So of course they want you to block that out from you. Block out those three things. No doubt about it. So I encourage you to look up the fluoridation trials that are going on in America. And this group, and especially this one gentleman that's been fighting hard, these trials have been going on forever. And they need to stop. They need to stop putting that in our water. These trials need to end in favor of Americans. And then that needs to spread to other countries who are fluoridating your water and basically dummying up the population. They're making the population dumber, folks. It's what fluoride does. It lowers people's everything. It's not good. And people think getting one of those regular filters that you could buy at the Walmart or whatever, Devil's Hub, helps get the fluoride out. No. Fluoride in water, almost the chemical makeup are almost identical, so it makes it much harder to separate the two. You need a special fluoride filter. And I know like the zero filters, they used to claim, they were making false claims that gets fluoride out of your water. It does not get fluoride out of your water. Sorry. You have to have a reverse osmosis system, or you can get, a Berkey with a specific fluoride filter. That's how you get it out. So if you are using your public water in the United States, it's fluoridated. I've had people tell me, they don't fluoridate my water. They do. It's a government regulated rule. They have to do it or they'll get fined. They don't have to tell you it's in the water because they don't have to tell you chlorine's in the water because they expect you to already know that. So they don't tell you. They don't have to tell you. They only have to tell you when there's too much lead in the water or something else that's toxic. They don't want to tell you about fluoride. They did that back in the 1940s and 50s to make sure you don't question it. Generations later, people still think it's good for their teeth. Yeah, it's not. There's also, you can have an overdose of fluoride, which actually causes your teeth to have spots and stuff. Yeah, it's an interesting rabbit hole to go down, friends. I highly recommend it. In other news, a couple comments from people. As predicted by Joseph, an earthquake with a magnitude of 5.8 hit AKQI County in the northwestern Zhejiang region of China. I warned China, and I brought up the earthquake map today, and they had a doozy of earthquakes over around there. And did you see? Remember, Spirit told us there was going to be a big earthquake right out in the Pacific Ocean. There was, in the southern eastern Pacific, not far from Chile. There was a big one. It's like a 6.3. Luckily, there were no tsunami warnings or anything, so that was good. But that happened, which means that beneath the sea is becoming a little restless, just like Spirit told us. That would bring, remember the big crack I saw underneath the sea and the visions I had of the water going in different directions and the tsunami, and you know the story. And if you missed my weather predictions that I did like a week ago, make sure you check out the weather predictions, where I do map scrying, a form of divination that I created to see where events are going to happen. So check it out if you missed it. Here's another comment here. Update. Massive fireball lights up the sky across nearly a dozen states. Prediction fulfilled. That's what the comment says. I didn't see anything about a fireball lighting up the sky across several states. I don't remember predicting that, but I do remember predicting many sky events. I don't remember, but if this person says I said it, and perhaps I did. Can't remember them all. But you also remember I warned Mexico City, and right around Mexico City, of massive earthquakes. Well, they didn't get the massive earthquakes, but what they are getting is a massive volcanic eruption that erupted 2 miles high. This baby went up into the sky. 2 miles high. So did that tell us that right around Mexico City that there's going to be that earthquake? This shift with the volcano erupting is bound to bring that earthquake that was predicted and Spirit told us about in the past. You know who did get an earthquake that may not have ever expected? Idaho. Hey ho, I'm from Idaho. I'm not from Idaho, but I thought it was funny. Idaho had a 4.9. And because I just did weather predictions, I wasn't really going to go into that today other than telling you what has been happening. You know what else is happening? The Kellogg CEO. This guy, man, talk about less than smart. He's getting a lot of backlash right now by telling people that they should be eating cereal for dinner so they can save money. First of all, Kellogg's cereal ain't cheap, number one. And who the heck wants to eat? You shouldn't be eating that anyway. It's garbage. It's filled with toxic chemicals, sugar, pesticides from the wheat and all that makes that cereal. Not good, friends. And also, I know people, friends that ate cereal all the time, all the way up to their 40s and early 50s. And guess what? They all ended up with diabetes. Not that it was the cereal itself, but eating that sugary stuff all the time, not good. Very unhealthy. He should get backlash for that. Oh, save money. Eat our cereal. Gross. And you forgot you got to pay for milk too, and milk's way up in price. So you're really not saving money. You're better off going and buying some ground beef and making something good. Just saying. Did you know that the WEF, the W and the E and the F, is now telling you through promotions that you need to get rid of your pet. Your pet is causing global warming. Now it's not just cow farts. It's dog and kitty farts too. Next thing you know, it's going to be our farts. And they're going to want to eliminate us one after another, which they're already trying to do. And their global depopulation agenda that they talk about in some of their plans. And Kissinger, Henry Kissinger, who just passed away, was the big pusher of depopulation. And they continue that journey. We're not even going to get into that today. But get rid of your pet? Yeah, you try to come for my pet. You try, because you're going out. Not my pet. Just saying. Not that I have a pet anymore, but I know and I know all you pet owners feel the same. But these are the sick plans that they have for people. Look what's happening in India right now. In India, there was just a farmer who was unalived in the protests. They took him out and started taking out the farmers. They don't want us to eat, friends. Bill Gates wants to control your food and in turn control you. and take out the groups that they want to take out and only let those survive that they want to survive. Friends, they are crazy, psychopathic, demented, if they even are people. Some believe they're reptilian aliens. I don't know what they are, but they sure don't seem very human. That's for sure. I mean, dark and evil on all kinds of amazing levels. Did you see that New York now is going to give $10,000 to the immigrants? Boy, are they really looking for Democratic votes in the next election or what? 10 grand. While people are suffering, they're throwing literally veterans out of hotels to put the illegals in there. And did you see New York just started holding their classes remotely, right? They were forced to by the government to do their classes remotely so that they can relocate the illegals to the high school. So now they're going to take away from our kids' education? Because we already know remote learning is the worst. They need interaction with each other, their kids. They need to have friends. They need interaction. They need a teacher that's right there that they can go to after class, or when they're bad, they can spend extra time in detention. But whatever, they need a classroom. Yeah. 10 grand, can you imagine? I don't know about you. I could use 10 grand right now. I could do a lot with 10 grand right now. I was thinking maybe I'll come across the border and learn another language and pretend I'm not American and see if they give me 10 grand. You want to come with me? You want to come? Oh, my Lord, this world is interesting. Spirit says, speaking of the whole immigrant thing, that a flag is going to fly ever so falsely in the near future at the southern border. Texas, of course. Remember all my predictions around the Texas border. And border wars, remember my visions of border wars, including border wars with the cartel themselves. Well, I don't know what they're going to do, but remember, when they do it, it is a flag that's going to fly ever so falsely for whatever reason. Be aware. Did you see Cinderella Castle? And Disney just had a big fire. And Disney just sold a major part of the movie business to Sony. Remember I said in predictions last year, actually, that Disney would continue to go under and that they would end up selling out part of their companies. Well, they just did. A big, large part of it to Sony Corporation. Isn't Sony owned by China? I mean, I could be wrong, but why does that pop in my mind? I think they are. If I'm wrong, I'm sure someone will correct me in the comments down below. So their Disney Cinderella Castle, you know, on TikTok, they made it look like this major roaring fire that did not happen. So if you saw that, that's not what happened. It was a small fire that was put out, and, you know, there was smoke, yes, but throughout the park, but it wasn't like they showed in that. They would have evacuated the whole entire park if that was the case, and that whole castle. That castle's big. And you're not going to have that on fire and keep the park open. It's just not happening. It was small. But is it a sign? Disney's fallen, friends. They're going to have a lot of events over the next year that happen in Disney World that are going to make people more leery of planning vacations to Disney. That's what Spirit just said. Just this year, let alone the whole next year, 1 year period from today. That Disney World and Disneyland are going to have a lot of incidents that are going to begin to deter people from wanting to take vacations there, which in the long run, by mid to late 2025, their parks are going to suffer great losses of people attending their parks. Hence, says the spirits. Hallelujah. Thank you, spirits. Thank you, spirits. Interesting. I don't know what's happening at the parks, but it doesn't sound very good. A lot. Spirit's like a lot's happening. And a lot is happening, including my March predictions coming up later this week. And keep an eye out. I'm putting together a live. I haven't had time, and I hope to get this live going this week. March predictions will come first, of course. But the live is showing you an interesting video. That's what I'll just leave you hanging with that. That enters into the topic of the elite, of course, and the Antichrist. So you're going to want to keep an eye out for that. Remember, too, you know, if you want to vibe with the tribe, you got to smash that subscribe, y'all. And not only that, you got to hit the bell, followed by all, so that you get notifications. And you got to actually check your notifications. Some people don't check them. I don't look at my YouTube notifications, so I wouldn't know. But you have to watch the notifications. And you know I'm here each and every Tuesday. I got a present from somebody, by the way. From Sheila R. in Canada, Toronto. I've been to Toronto. It's a nice little city. She sent me something really cool. I couldn't wait to open it, so I opened it. But she sent me this last week, and it says Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. She also sent this picture. Thank you so much for the 3 powerful money manifestation tools and meditation. If you missed that, check it out. I did a video, 3 very powerful manifest tools and meditation. So for manifesting. Clearing out blockages. Thank you for the channeling too. Thank you for all your help and hard work. I wanted to send you this picture of the Canadian truckers, which is here, which it literally looks like a cross directly behind them. I don't know how well you can see that. I don't know. But she sent me this really awesome, because I am definitely still, at my age, a lead head. She sent me this awesome vintage Led Zeppelin shirt. It's pretty awesome. I haven't worn it. It smells really good. Did you put some kind of flower smell in this or something? Because it really smells good. What's in here? Oh, yeah. Oh, this is a 1977 vintage Led Zeppelin World Tour t-shirt. Thank you for everything. That is awesome. I won't wear it then. Vintage, I will not wear it. I have literally a bag. They're all sealed in plastic, but a big thing about this high of all the concert shirts from not all the concerts I went to, but a lot of them. And the tour books. Some of them I wore and they have holes in them, but some of them I never wore. Like I remember when Billy Joel and Elton John first started to do the tour together. That was a long time ago. I have that shirt, never worn. It wouldn't fit me nowadays anyway. I was a young ankle biter at that time. Well, I'm going to leave you with that, folks. I got to go upload this and go work on March predictions. So I love you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for showing your love by clicking that thumbs up love button. I greatly appreciate it. And I greatly appreciate all my members that are members down below. Whether you're a member and you follow me on Spotify, Rumble, or all the other platforms, all the links are below. Till the next time, friends, remember, celebrate life, celebrate you. Be kind to others as you wish others be kind to you. And remember to be bold, be true, be kind, be you, because you're awesome. Go rock out your awesomeness and have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste. And much love, friends. Much love.